Hey everyone, how's it going? For today's video, let's take an up-close and personal, in-depth look at the latest generation Mercedes CLS63 AMG, this particular one featuring the optional AMG Performance Package. While this particular CLS is a 2012 model, I'll be covering all CLS63s from 2012 through 2014. Nothing really changed from them aside from different equipment and some performance enhancements over the years. So this is going to be a detailed and complete in-depth review of the CLS63. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, and go over the performance data, as well as show you a bunch of the unique aspects of both the interior as well as exterior. And before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to extend a big thanks and special shout out to Scott Jaguar, located in Charlotte, North Carolina, for providing the CLS63 AMG featured in today's in-depth review. For more information on their inventory, including new and pre-owned, check out the link in the description box below. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. Now, just like the latest Mercedes products, the CLS features a standard remote smart key access system, so you can lock and unlock the vehicle without actually having to use the key fob and utilizing the touch sensors on all four of the door handles. To lock, just tap the little depressed portion on the handle, and then to unlock, simply grab the handle because there's a sensor located right behind it. Of course, this one features an all-black exterior, whereas the interior is nicely complemented by an all-black, premium perforated leather interior, specifically tailored for the AMG model. And along with that smart key system, the CLS also features standard remote push-button ignition. All you have to do to start is just put your foot on the brake and hit the silver button in the dash to go. Direction is provided by an AMG calibrated electromechanical variable ratio steering setup, designed to provide quicker steering and lighter effort at lower speeds while stiffening up at higher speeds to provide enhanced directional stability and a more crisp, precise feel. It's all routed through the AMG Performance steering wheel, benefiting from a substantial set of grip bolsters up top and down below with a flat bottom design. Alcantara wraps the sides, while satin aluminum dresses up the spokes and multifunction controls. The gauges are also tailored for AMG and feature a unique white-on-black color scheme. The CLS63 receives AMG's Speed Shift multi-clutch 7-speed transmission, a popular gearbox used in many AMG products. It's routed through an electronic selector in the center console. While similar to the torque converter 7-speed in non-AMG cars, the multi-clutch gearbox uses a wet clutch pack to couple the engine and transmission. This allows the car to give the smoothness of a typical auto at low speeds with the benefit of near dual-clutch quick gear changes and the ability to perform rev-matching downshifts. In Sport and Sport Plus, you can certainly use manual shifting, but the car will do most of the work at the limits to keep the car in the appropriate band of power. Although switching the dial to manual mode gives full control of the gearbox to the driver and the paddle shifters, even at the 6,400 RPM redline. A limited slip differential is standard feature and a 30% locking rate under load to help mitigate wheel slip and distribute torque to the wheel with the most grip. Next to the electronic gear selector, there are an array of buttons and a rotary dial up top. Twisting the rotary dial selects 4 different transmission modes. Controlled efficiency gears the car for fuel economy and the smoothest shifting, in addition to automatically activating the engine auto start-stop feature. And Eco mode begins the car in second gear when taken off at a standstill. It's all said to improve fuel economy by 32% over its predecessor. Sport mode decreases shifting times by 30%, while Sport Plus and manual modes feature near dual clutch-like 100 millisecond shifts. There are 3 suspension settings: Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus, which also work to firm up the steering respectively, not to mention an AMG button that puts everything in the highest level of sport. And so, we're going to flip on the automatic adaptive LED headlamps, as well as the hazards. Of course, all 4 windows are fully automatic, and we'll check out the exterior. In 2006, Mercedes took the luxury car market by storm and created an all-new niche of premium sedan with the introduction of the seductively styled CLS class. Its unique 4-door coupe philosophy offers coupe-like styling and proportions with the added practicality of having 4 doors and a 2+2 layout. Underneath, it shares much of its architecture, hardware, and engines with the more mainstream E-Class. Unlike the E-Class though, the CLS prioritizes form over function with a high belt line and sloping roof that decreases rear seat headroom while preserving a roomy cabin for front occupants. With a higher focus on performance, North American CLS models were only available with a V8 engine in both entry models and AMG counterparts, until the 2015 refresh where the CLS 400 debuted as the new entry model, powered by a twin-turbo 329 horsepower V6, slotting amongst its V8 brethren the CLS 550 and CLS 63. The most significant redesign came in 2012, bringing with it improved rear seat headroom and shoulder room, better ergonomics, improved fuel economy, and the latest safety technology. The second generation CLS is slightly larger than its predecessor, with modest increases in both height and width. The biggest departure between generations is styling. While the overall wedge shape remains, the sheet metal is notably more aggressive with bulging fenders, sharp creases, and dynamic curves across the side profile to the SLS AMG-inspired front and rear clips. LED lighting in the front and rear provide modern illumination. I personally believe this CLS is more appealing to the eye than its predecessor. It's slightly less polarizing, more refined, and definitely looks more dynamic and has just an air of German engineering to it, without losing its signature character. Lightweight aluminum is used throughout for many of the body panels, including the doors, which weigh 53 pounds less than traditional steel doors. The wheelbase grows by 0.8 inches, while overall length grows by nearly an inch. One thing remains certain though, even though the car has evolved and matured over the years, it still offers one of the most dynamic silhouettes you could find in the luxury sedan segment. The AMG differs from the standard car with a number of key exterior upgrades. The aluminum hood is more aggressive with sharp cut lines that blend well with the unique front fascia, which incorporates larger air intakes below and an AMG grille. With the wider front track, AMG also fitted wider aluminum fenders. All in all, it gives the CLS a more planted, hunkered down stance even though the ride height didn't change. The CLS63 benefits from an AMG-tuned adaptive sport suspension, replacing the independent airmatic suspension of the S550, with unique front steel springs and 3-link setup, electronic gas struts, and self-leveling rear air springs. Like we touched on earlier, there are 3 driver-selectable modes that alter the stiffness and behavior of the chassis, in addition to automatically compensating for body roll, pitch, and dive. It begins with a bespoke front axle design that has a 1.6-inch wider track than the non-AMG variant, not to mention AMG-specific control arms, wheel bearings, and tubular stabilizer bars. The front and rear wheels are even tuned with more negative wheel camber thanks to revised hub carriers and steering arms to the front, to provide a heightened level of grip and stability during high-speed cornering. Combine that with a redesigned front and rear suspension geometry and a new rear subframe, the CLS63 is designed to be stable, precise, and agile even at higher speeds. AMG also employs wheel speed sensors to determine the level of traction the tires have, especially when using launch control. The car will automatically dial back engine power to match how much grip you have out back, maximizing your potential for a quick, successful launch. Standard wheel offerings consist of 19-inch asymmetric AMG forged alloys wrapped in two 55/35 tires in front and two 85/30s in the rear, while this example has a set of larger asymmetric 20-inch 9-spoke Interlagos rotary forged wheels by TSW, silver painted with mirror cut face wrapped in high-performance hand-coat tires. With the factory setup, the AMG is able to hold around 0.91 G of lateral cornering forces. As far as the brakes, the CLS63 carries 14.2-inch cross-drilled and slotted ventilated discs at all four corners, with front rotors being slightly wider, providing that extra bite to bring the car to a stop from 60 miles an hour at 113 feet, or a set of beefy 6-piston calipers up front and 4-piston units in the rear. For even more stopping power, high-performance carbon ceramic brakes were also available, with the larger 15.8-inch rotors and 6-piston calipers up front, and 14.2-inch rotors and 4-piston calipers in the rear. Their original price was around $12,625. The benefits? Superior heat and fade resistance in high-demand scenarios, not to mention 40% less weight than the standard brakes. It's easy to tell them apart with unique gold-painted calipers. As far as the suspension, the AMG features independent McPherson struts in front with dual lower ball joints, twin-tube dampers, and coil springs. In the back, you have independent multi-link design with air springs and driver-adjustable dampers. Overall length is 196.7 inches with a width of 74.1 inches and a height of 55.4 inches, right on a 113.2-inch wheelbase. Total curb weight, as you see here, is around 4,275 pounds.
So we're going to pop the hood.
Powering the CLS63 is the excellent M157 all-aluminum twin-turbo and intercooled 5.5-liter V8, which takes the place of the previous offered naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8. The double overhead cam, all-aluminum direct-injected engine carries 4 valves per cylinder, dual variable valve timing, a red line of 6,400 RPM, and a compression ratio of 10:1. For 2012 and 2013, the standard cars produced 518 horsepower at 5,250 RPM and 516 pound-feet of torque at 1,750 RPM, a gain of 11 horsepower and 51 pound-feet of torque over the 6.2-liter. If you have never-ending thirst for more power, you can even order the $7,300 performance package, as seen with our example here. In addition to red brake calipers, a sportier tuned suspension, carbon fiber lip spoiler, and carbon fiber engine cover, you also get a substantial performance upgrade. Turbo boost gets dialed up from 14.5 psi to 18.9 psi, which turns out 550 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. The limited top speed of 155 miles an hour also gets raised to 186 miles an hour. The manufacturer-rated 0 to 60 time marginally improves from the standard 4.4 seconds to 4.3 seconds. In real-world testing, the CLS63 has been shown to accelerate to 60 in as little as 3.8 seconds, with quarter-mile times averaging 12 seconds at 121 miles an hour. For 2014, the standard CLS63 got a bump in power to 550 and 531 pound-feet of torque. With this was the introduction of an even higher spec model known as the CLS63S model, which replaces the aforementioned performance package, with 577 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. 2014 also receives standard 4MATIC all-wheel drive versus the prior rear-wheel drive only cars, making it easier to live with in inclement weather. As far as fuel economy, with a 21-gallon tank and running on required premium fuel, the AMG returns an EPA rating of 16 miles to a gallon in the city and 22 on the highway. Inside, the biggest difference with the newer gen CLS models is a substantial increase in interior accommodations, especially for rear seat passengers and shoulder room. Quality of materials and fitment is top-notch and also a big improvement, with plenty of leather-wrapped surfaces and satin aluminum trim. This example we have here is the optional carbon fiber interior package, which does wonders in enhancing the AMG's visual appeal. Diseño black piano lacquer and traditional wood is also available. All of your power accessories are located on the door, including your locks, windows, and mirrors. Your seat controls are also located on the upper door panel with 3-person memory. A bit of storage down below, lined in velour, and your power trunk release, finished off in the CLS signature frameless doors. As far as the seats, they're wrapped in supple, semi-aniline leather with perforations and unique AMG design that offers superior lateral support compared to the standard offerings. They offer a fantastic combination of comfort and sport with heating and ventilated functions. Attention to detail is quite good, with a rib pattern coming up across the middle, AMG tags towards the top, and you have adjustable headrests and adjustable seat belts. Also available is an active massage feature with a multi-contour design with a little control panel towards the middle section of the seat, not to mention a little storage cabinet towards the front. There's plenty of airbags found throughout, keeping everybody nice and protected, not to mention Mercedes' entire host of electronic safety features. illuminated aluminum AMG door entry guards, AMG floor mats, and aluminum sport pedals. The steering wheel is power tilting, telescoping. Down below you have a driver's knee airbag, your parking brake release, lighting controls, and available night vision camera. The dash in this example, including the upper and lower portions, is entirely wrapped out of leather with the carbon fiber detailing across the middle, finished off with a black headliner.
So let's go ahead and see if she sounds.
The CLS63 comes standard with a Harman Kardon Logic 7 audio system with Dolby Digital 5.1 channel surround sound, packing 610 watts through 14 speakers. It's all routed through the Mercedes Command navigation infotainment system. In general, the system remained very similar in its features and functionality between 2012 and 2014, with 2015 receiving the newest generation system. I have covered this system more in depth in some of my previous Mercedes and AMG product reviews if you want to look those up and check it out. But they all work in a very similar fashion. Using the little aluminum rotary knob, you click up, down, left, and right, twist it back and forth, and push down to select an option that allows you to go between the different menus and sub-menus. You have a back button and clear button. Alcantara A-pillars with your side curtain airbags, grip handles up top, and Alcantara wrapped visors with vanity mirrors and card holder. Auto-dimming move view mirror as standard, the 3-position garage home link located down below. And in the top stack, you have your SOS emergency roadside assistance, interior illumination, as well as controls for your fully automatic sunroof. As we come to the center console, the center air vents are adorned in an aluminum housing with an elegant analog clock located front and center. The beautiful carbon fiber extending the length of the dash. And down below, you have your shortcut keys for your command system for radio, disc, and more, on-hook and off-hook buttons for your telephone. You can store your preset stations over here or use this as an integrated dialing pad. CD changer located in the dash as well as an SD card input. 3-stage heated and ventilated seats, your power rear sunshade, your hazard, eco, automatic start and stop feature. When you actually stop at a stoplight, it'll shut the vehicle off momentarily to save a little bit of fuel. As soon as you let your foot off the brake and go to the gas, it automatically reignites and it's ready to go. And turning off your parking sensors. Right beneath that is your standard dual-zone electronic automatic climate control system with temperature located on either side, one-touch automatic, air filtration recycling, fan speed, different zones, front and rear defrost, and max AC. 2 adjustable cup holders, and the center console is also lined in the stitched trim, as is the center console. We already talked about the other driving dynamic modes a little earlier in the video, but off to the far right is a small little storage tray with a 12-volt power outlet and or lighter. Pull up on this little lever here, and that opens up the split console. Lined in felt, has all of your media inputs including iPod, auxiliary, as well as USB integration, and a 12-volt power outlet.
On the steering wheel to the right hand side you have your telephone controls, radio controls, and hands-free voice commands. Help.
For which audio CD functions do you want help? Change CD. Select track, all audio CD functions, or voice controllable devices. Cancel.
So it has tailored voice commands for the different functions, whether it be your radio or your navigation. The left-hand side displays a driver information system located right in between the speedometer cluster. Trip computer, navigation, audio, telephone, drive assist, the different safety functions, pre-collision detection, blind spot monitoring, and more. Service reminders, vehicle settings, all the personalizable options, and an AMG mode showing which drive mode you're in, current temperatures, and more. Your cruise control is located in the stalk up here, along with your adaptive cruise settings. So, all in all, that's pretty much it. Go ahead, shut her down. And check out the back seat.
So taking a closer look at the back seat, because of the CLS's trademark sloped back roofline, it does mean a little bit less headroom for taller passengers than a comparable E-Class or even a larger S-Class. So while style kind of takes priority over practicality here, it does make decent accommodations for 4 passengers. You get the same styling and luxury features that you find in the front, with the aluminum plating, carbon fiber, and leather padding. And in the back, instead of a middle row passenger, you have a full-length center console with storage cubbies.
Now, if you're within a few inches of 6 feet, you're going to probably want to duck your head when climbing into the back just because it is a bit more of an intimate cabin than a traditional 4-door sedan is. Of course, just like a Mercedes should, everything evokes a nice solid feel, but because it's a little bit more of an intimate cabin, not that it's cramped, but it is a little bit more, let's say, personal to each of the back passengers. Because of the sloping roofline, it is a little bit limited headroom, but luckily, about right here, it actually dips up a little bit to give you a little bit more wiggle room back here. So really, I'm around 5'10", and I probably have about an inch of head space and leg space. I want to say 2.5, 3 inches or so. There is a bit of hardware under the front seat, so you can't really stick your legs too far under. So really, this position that I have right here is going to be your most comfortable bet. They also did some cutouts in the back of the seats right here. There's some ventilation ports that actually suck the air in for the cooling function of the front seats. So that also gives you a little bit more wiggle room around this area. You do have storage pockets on each of the back seats, coat hooks, grip handles up top, and my favorite thing about the CLS's back seat is the full-length center console. Now this is in the black piano veneer. You can get your choice of wood veneers, and I think they offered a matte finish at some point in time. But you just slide them back. There's actually a cup holder here, a small little storage space right here for, I don't know, a really, really skinny cup. A felt-lined storage compartment here, 12-volt power outlet, and ashtray if you have the smoker's package, I guess. In addition to the cup holder that you have down here, you also have 2 in the center armrest, along with a little bit of storage. I would say comfort is pretty decent overall as well. I mean, it's definitely more sport-oriented, I guess. The seats do have some nice bolsters across the top and the bottom, so they kind of feel like bucket seats, even though they really aren't totally styled like a bucket seat. You do have leather padding across the doors, across the center console, so overall it's a comfortable, well-appointed interior. But if you're taller than me, especially over 6 feet, you're going to be more comfortable in the front seat, or perhaps search a larger car. But my height and under is perfectly adequate, in my opinion, to take a longer trip.
All in all, cargo space for the CLS is around 15.3 cubic feet. Not too bad. You can fold down the rear seats for extra storage space all the way to the front, or you can also opt for this really nifty cargo organizer. You pull it out like a little tray, and then push the midsection all the way down, and you can easily secure some cargo. There's cargo anchors found throughout, and some extra storage nets to either side. Pressing the little chrome button off to the right automatically retracts it, and then you just slide it right up underneath. Pull the little levers right up above it to release the rear seat. It folds in a 60-40 split fashion. Underneath the trunk floor, you have a temporary tire, all of your jacking equipment, as well as the vehicle's battery.
You also have the same power adjustments across the passenger seat that you find on the driver's, except for the multi-contour adjustments. But you do have 4-way power lumbar. The large piece of carbon fiber coming across the passenger side portion with the aluminum accents and stitched leather up top. Down below, you do have a locking glove box with a modest amount of space overall.
The CLS63 AMG is probably the best executed combination of sleek flowing lines and aggression. With an immense level of power and sumptuous luxury, it's the ideal car for those looking for a stylish sedan alternative that's bound to turn heads wherever it goes.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the Mercedes CLS63 AMG. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.